Ever heard the name Tay Keith? His beats are behind some of the biggest hits, and his story has a couple twists you might not see coming.
Hey, I'm Leah. I'm feeling super curious today, and I can't wait to dive into this topic with you.
And I'm Garrett, pretty excited to explore this one. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett. All right, let's set the stage for this one. Today we're talking about Tay Keith, the Memphis-born record producer whose drums shook up radio, clubs, and festival stages all over the world.
This one's been on my mind. I remember first clocking his name on Travis Scott's Sicko Mode. Travis Scott is a Houston rapper known for high-energy, psychedelic-leaning shows. That song felt like 3 tracks in one. The sections kept flipping, and the energy kept rising. And when I saw it live, that multi-section arrangement just took over the crowd. It made me want to know who crafted that backbone, and the answer was Tay Keith. Right there, shaping a generational festival anthem.
Let's open the book on who he is. Tay Keith, born Bratavius Lakeith Chambers in 1996, is a record producer from Memphis, Tennessee. A record producer is basically the architect of a song's sound, the person who designs the beat, helps arrange sections, and guides the feel so the artist can shine. He works mostly in hip-hop and trap being the southern hip-hop style with hard 808 bass, fast hi-hats, and usually darker melodies. His signature is heavy low-end, skittering hats, and ominous piano or synth lines, the kind that rattle a car door but still feel clean and radio-ready.
And he mostly stayed behind the scenes as non-performing personnel, which means he wasn't the front-facing vocalist, but he was the engine. He programmed drums, arranged transitions, and co-wrote, not just handing over a beat file, but helping shape the skeleton of the song. If you've ever heard that producer tag, that short sonic logo that says who made the beat, his is one of the most recognizable. There's a clean version and an explicit version that radio often edits, but either way, the tag sets a mood in seconds. Those tags help a producer build a brand, and when you pair that with publishing and royalties, you have a career that pays beyond the initial studio day. Publishing is the business of managing your songs, licensing them, and tracking the money. BMI, Broadcast Music Incorporated, is a performing rights organization that collects and pays performance royalties when songs are streamed or played in public. Tay Keith is a BMI member, and he signed a publishing deal with Warner Chappell Music, a big global publisher that handles the admin side, so the checks land where they should.
Let's take it from the top. He grew up in South Memphis, started tinkering with music as a young teen, and around age 14, he was uploading early beats and remakes to YouTube and DatPiff. DatPiff is a classic mixtape site where street records could really move. He even taught himself by remaking songs on piano, like Lil Wayne's Lollipop, Lil Wayne being a New Orleans rap legend. That kind of self-study says a lot. Later in his teens, he spent time in East Memphis and met Block Boy JB, a Memphis rapper whose animated style matched Tay Keith's drums. That friendship became a pipeline. First came local runs, and by 2013 and 2014, you could spot early credits with artists like Lil B, PNB Rock, and Damso. By 2016, he was tightening ties with Memphis acts like Black Youngsta, Moneybagg Yo, and Project Pat. The sound got leaner, meaner, very drum-forward. Block Boy's No Chorus series showed that minimal approach. It was like all the pieces were lining up.
And then momentum turned into a wave. In 2017, he kept feeding the Memphis network, and by early 2018, those records started breaking wider. Block Boy JB had Rover, which turned into Rover 2.0 with 21 Savage. 21 Savage being an Atlanta-based rapper known for deadpan delivery. Then came Look Alive, featuring Drake. Drake is the Canadian rapper-singer who dominates charts globally. That one stamped Tay Keith on the national map, charted top 5 on the Hot 100, and set the table for even bigger moments.
2018 was the breakout. Sicko Mode with Travis Scott hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Billboard's Hot 100 is the main U.S. singles chart that blends sales, streams, and radio. Sicko Mode went on to be certified diamond, which is 10 times platinum, and it earned a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Song. He also produced Non-Stop for Drake, which peaked at #2, and Not Alike for Eminem. That one featured Royce da 5'9", a veteran lyricist. Plus Never Recover with Lil Baby and Gunna, and he kept piling on. Lil Yachty's Who Want the Smoke with Cardi B and Offset, Meek Mill's Tic Tac Toe with Kodak Black, 6ix9ine's Stupid with Bobby Shmurda, and a moody cut on a Metro Boomin and 21 Savage project called Do Not Come Out the House. Metro Boomin, by the way, is another superstar producer. That is a staggering spread for a single year.
And in the middle of that sprint, he graduated college. He earned a Bachelor of Science from Middle Tennessee State University in December 2018. The same month, Sicko Mode hit #1. That is so wild. Real talk, it takes focus to hand in finals while your name is on a diamond-bound single. And about that producer tag we mentioned, the explicit version became a meme, but radio would run a clean cut. Why does that matter so much?
Because it works like a logo. You hear 2 seconds and your brain goes, this is that Memphis drum slam. It builds brand equity and it travels across different artists. Also, a recognizable tag can drive demand, which pairs with the business side, publishing, PRO registrations, all that, so your catalog keeps paying. And it helps audiences connect the dots, like, oh, the same person did Nonstop, Look Alive, and Sicko Mode. Yeah, that checks out.
Here's where it gets really interesting. He did not just stay in rap's core lane. In 2019, he produced Beyoncé's Before I Let Go, a bonus track on Homecoming, the live album. Beyoncé is a global pop and R&B icon. He also worked with DJ Khaled, who is a producer-curator known for posse-cut singles, on Wish Wish with Cardi B and 21 Savage, and Jealous with Chris Brown, Lil Wayne, and Big Sean. He had records with Future, an Atlanta star whose melodic trap basically defined a decade, and even Miley Cyrus on Mother's Daughter. Pop-leaning, but the drum identity stayed. Around then, he spent time in Atlanta, a creative hub for hip-hop, and in early 2019, he even posted about a serious car crash, but he kept releasing music without missing a beat.
The run kept expanding. In 2020, he helped power the UK scene with Rain by H and AJ Tracy, while in the US, he produced You Played for Moneybagg Yo with Lil Baby, plus Go Stupid for Polo G, Stunna 4 Vegas, and NLE Choppa, and several tracks on Lil Baby's album, like Commercial with Lil Uzi Vert and No Sucker with Moneybagg Yo. In 2021, he turned up again on DJ Khaled cuts like Every Chance I Get with Lil Baby and Lil Durk, and I Did It. With Post Malone, Megan Thee Stallion, Lil Baby, and DaBaby. He did Type Shit for Migos and Cardi B, Over the Top for Smiley, and Ambition for Cash for Key Glock. In 2022, the hits kept coming. Gucci Mane's Rumors with Lil Durk, Moneybagg Yo's See What I'm Saying, Cardi B's Hot Shit with Kanye West and Lil Durk, Nav's Never Sleep with Lil Baby and Travis Scott, and on Drake and 21 Savage, he helped deliver Jimmy Cooks, a #1, and Rich Flex, a #2, plus album cuts like Circo Loco and Broke Boys. Then in 2023, he was in the center of a viral wave with Sexy Red, producing Ski and Bow Bow Bow, plus Meltdown for Travis Scott and Drake, First Person Shooter for Drake and J. Cole, and Shotta Flow 7 for NLE Choppa. He even got his first Hot 100 entry as a lead artist with Pound Town 2, alongside Sexy Red and Nicki Minaj. In 2024, he executive produced Sexy Red's In Sexy We Trust, and in 2025, credits included Travis Scott's 4x4 and Jack Harlow with Doja Cat on Just Us. That is stamina.
And behind the console, he was building structure. He signed with Warner Chappell Music for publishing, became a member of BMI to track performance royalties, and leaned into executive ambitions with his DOA imprint. Forbes profiled that transition, highlighting how he wanted to sign and guide artists. Plus, small but important note, do not confuse him with Tay Keith, the Texas rapper with a similar name, different person, different lane.
Now we have to address a hard turn. In June 2026, Tay Keith was found deceased in his Nashville apartment during a welfare check. Authorities said no foul play was suspected, and the death remained unclassified pending autopsy and toxicology. The exact time of death was not publicly established, and major outlets reported that the cause was undetermined as of those reports.
That one gave me chills, because when there are unanswered questions, people fill the gaps, and, speculation can overtake the music. I keep wondering, how do we honor the work while the facts are still developing? Why does the unknown sometimes feel louder than the legacy?
Media cycles reward the sensational, but here the verified details are simple. Found in June 2026, no foul play suspected, cause pending. From my side, the fair play move is to hold space for the family, wait for official findings, and keep the spotlight on what we do know, the music, the catalog, the craft, because that story is enormous on its own.
I hear that. I think about the artists he lifted: Memphis voices, Atlanta voices, UK features. Those songs are living artifacts. Even with unresolved circumstances, the best compass is to center his contributions, his rhythmic blueprint, and the artists who keep performing these records. That does not erase grief, but it keeps the narrative grounded in what he built.
Speaking of the blueprint, the cultural footprint is huge. That tag became a signal flare, immediate brand recognition, and sicko mode sits in that small circle of late 2010s festival anthems that changed set lists. The multi-part design, those beat switch moments, it was like giving a stadium 3 dopamine hits in one track.
And Look Alive pushed the Memphis bounce onto the global stage, those chant-ready hooks and trunk-rattling drums. You hear 2 bars, and you can picture the energy in a packed room. That is cultural stickiness, not just a chart blip. Okay, here's a thought I've been turning over. What if he never met Blockboy JB back in East Memphis? Without that early partnership, Look Alive with Drake probably does not happen in the same way. That collab was a catalyst.
I could get behind that idea. Without Blockboy, the neighborhood pipeline changes. Maybe he still breaks through via Atlanta circles, working with Lil Baby or Gunna first, or through another cosign from someone like DJ Khaled, who loves to spot rising producers. The sound would still be the sound, but the timeline shifts. Instead of a cluster of 2018 placements across Drake, Travis Scott, and Eminem, maybe that burst spreads into 2019 or 2020, which then nudges which songs land where on those albums. Little changes ripple outward. Wild how that works out.
Totally. And the collaborators shape the palette too. If he linked first with, say, Future or Key Glock instead of Blockboy, we might hear a slightly moodier lane earlier, or more mid-tempo flex records before the blast-off. Maybe the UK moment with H and AJ Tracy becomes the first international look rather than a later chapter. That is the fun of these what-ifs. The core talent stays, but the door that opens first can change the view you get. Here's where we land. I'm thinking about the craft behind the curtain, the way a producer, not center stage, can still define an era. Tay Keith's catalog shows how drums, arrangement, and branding can travel from a Memphis studio to arenas across continents.
And I'm thinking about the structure he built, the publishing, the PRO setup, the executive push with DOA, plus the consistency from 2018 through 2025. That staying power says a lot. Let's appreciate the folks shaping the sound, even when they are off the mic, and yeah, stay curious about the stories behind the beats.